We have dug ourselves over 74 years into a very deep pit. And we find ourselves in such a very deep pit, and it's difficult for all of us. But I ask of you that at this difficult time, that you provide your support. Prices have changed. The shelves of the stores are empty. Here at the Vasilievsky Ostrov market, Yeltsin visited a sewing factory, and then behind closed doors, he talked behind closed doors to the mayor of Petersburg, Anatoly Savchuk. Tomorrow in Moscow, there will be a meeting of heads of states of the Commonwealth, of independent states. According to Ulyukayev, Russia will not be showing off any new Russian ruble. Today in Moscow, there were Russian-American consultations on disarmament. This is being discussed by the State Department of the United States and the Russian Ministry of Foreign Defense. In Estonia, persons who do not have a residence permit will have to pay a $25 fee and get an insert for their passport. In the mining enterprise of Krasnoyarsk, the enterprise has declared that it will no longer accept waste from the 4 Ukrainian nuclear power plants. So we are not concerned with you. That's what the makers of automobiles at the Volga factory are telling to us. According to the new price list, the VAZ 2108 of the 8410 model 80 will cost 410,000. The Zhiguli will cost 114,000. Number 768,000. The VAZ 2108 will cost 138,000, and the 99 number 99 will cost 237,000 rubles. That's a person's lifetime salary. According to experts, no one expected the prices to go up that fast, but there's still nothing to buy. Here is a report from Kaliningrad, which is formerly called Königsberg. People are surprised not by the highness of prices, but their absurdity. Why should meat cost 104 rubles a kilogram and bologna 75? Such are the laws of the market, the salesmen tell us. But even at the farmer's market, it's cheaper. And they would be even cheaper if it hadn't been for currency from Poland, the Baltic states, and the independent Ukraine, who are dumping rubles on our Russian market. Here is a doctor of economic science, Dr. Yuri Matichkin, who is talking about introducing a special parallel form of currency, and also with regard to regulations on trade in exchange for hard currency. This is a demonstration in the Ukraine over liberalization of prices, which is supposedly fraud. The introduction of coupons has impoverished the people. Said one of the speakers, there are no incentives to work. If there were privatization of property, if there were lower prices, private ownership of land, things would be better, but there's nothing of the sort. Can you tell me where this pair of shoes come from? I think it was Gradishev, but I wasn't there. It's a small factory, I don't know. This footwear has been put out by some unknown co-op. There are no documentation forms. The toe form and the heel forming part are absent. It should give form to the shoe, but the price is 525 rubles. That's a lot of money. I am truly troubled. This is the state inspector. There is no control over quality of goods being sold because there is no control over trade. You never see any documentation from the producer, and the consumers have no protection. They have no one to turn to. and if the goods turn out to be of low quality. The Sociological Institute of the Academy of Sciences did a poll in Moscow, and they said, if the difficulties continue to spring, what are you going to do? More than 66% said that they would use their reserve savings and food and look for additional work. 16.5% said they would demand a raise. 13% said they would participate in demonstrations to force the government to lower prices. 10.5% said they would demand the resignation of the government and it returned to a strict system of rationing of resources. The military political conflict has touched not only upon the fleet, there are other conflicts over other forms of the armed services. Here's one fact. A plane, the plane you see now, has been created in the factory in 900 factories of the former USSR. Each republic has the right to have its own Air Force. This is Mr. Denykin, who is the commander of the Air Force, but the military transportation aviation and the frontline aviation is senseless to break up and practice impossible. If we act in this fashion, we will throw back all the republics by decades. In historic sense, the situation has developed in such a fashion that we have the design bureaus in some republics, the factories in others, and the machine and the engines are built in other republics. So we have to consider that of the 20,000 flyers, pilots, we have 15,000 of them Russian. So if we want to divide up our planes, ships, tanks, we're going to be dividing even human beings up piece by piece. Until we have a legislative basis for the armed forces, the swearing in, the swearing of an oath is premature, and if that's forced upon the soldiers, that's immoral. That will inevitably lead to new problems. In Geneva, there are a number of questions: who and in what fashion will international agreements signed by Moscow be observed on nuclear and conventional weaponry? How about the 40,000 tons of chemical weapons, which are concentrated on the territory of Russia? How about the thousands of specialists, military specialists, who are threatened with unemployment? Will they not be picked up by adventuristic regimes? This is the representative of Russia at the Geneva Conference on disarmament. Just now, the situation has been inherited. It's a difficult situation, and this burden falls upon Russia. It's comprehensible that today in Russia we have a lot of other problems, and the Russian leadership has problems. But on the other hand, the negotiations are being conducted. Russia is continuing them. They're closer than ever to success. And for that reason, it is unlikely that this problem will be simply cast aside. Who will give whom what? That's the chief question being determined in the political life of the Commonwealth. Many state structures have been destroyed, including our ecological state and organization. Perhaps we will lose all the links between the republics of the Commonwealth. Everyone will take his own piece. This is Michael Asokin with a report. Yeltsin once told journalists that he speaks no more than 5 hours a day. He wakes up 5 or 6 times every night. And first of all, he thinks about the new Commonwealth and its problems. He has a lot of problems, more than enough. There are so many problems: the fate of the ruble, the Black Sea Fleet, and even the buildings of the former embassies of the Soviet Union. And some say that the Ukrainian leadership is to blame same. Others say the Russian leaders are too ambitious and want to take over all the Soviet Union property. But there is no end to these insults and problems. But we also see the problem of a difference in principle between the two strongest states in the Commonwealth, Ukraine, which is now independent, and Russia. The Ukraine's leadership wants to be independent and have its own army, and the Ukrainians are looking upon the Commonwealth as only a transitional stage. Some say that the Commonwealth has no future. In a month, there will be no more Commonwealth. In the Kremlin, on the other hand, the leaders want to maintain a single, everyone under a common roof. They hope to hold Ukraine under this common roof as well. There's been an appeal to Bush to do everything that he can to prevent the withdrawal of Ukraine from the Commonwealth. If the former republics can be held together, there will be less stimulus for the parts of Russia to demand independence. So the Russian leaders want to maintain the Commonwealth, but the Ukrainians want to undermine the Commonwealth. So we should have no illusions. It's unlikely that if there is agreement on property and other topics, this will eliminate the threat posed to